Is this, one here, another here, and
I'm almost there.
I'm just waiting on.
I know.
We ran a little long in a meeting this morning, and I just want to give the courtesy of another couple minutes before we start. Guess, are we on? Guess I can announce that we have made an investment in a significant upgrade listening online for purposes, other purposes involving court proceedings. I think we've made about a 500% improvement in sound quality, so we'll see, but I believe that's going to be the case. For anyone taking the podium, you won't have to, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to read, you don't have to touch the microphone. It's very good. It will pick you up, most likely. Okay. I'll give one more minute. This call the Blacksburg County Commissioners Court order this Tuesday, August 26, 2025, and ask Ms. Waller to call the roll.
Judge Brady, Commissioner Lear, Commissioner Eager,
Here.
Commissioner Eastman,
Here.
Commissioner Riley.
Here.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor to the flag. I pledge allegiance to Texas, one state, under God, one.
Please remain standing for the invocation. Heavenly Father, as you look down on us, We give you thanks and praise for this day and time. We ask you to guide us with your wisdom in the decisions we will be making today, decisions that will affect the future of this county for days to come. Lord, we need your guidance every day. We ask you to protect and guide our law enforcement in all their duties to protect and serve. Be with all first responders, keep them from harm's way. Lord, you know how heavy these responsibilities are. See these burdens and help in any way to lift the weight. And first responders. We are grateful for yesterday, thankful for today, and look forward. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Let's open the public hearing on the proposed 2025, 2026 budget. First up is Mr. Kenneth.
For the past several years, I've opposed the proposed budget based on two concerns. First, Judge Bray and I disagree that officer salaries are properly published in the newspaper. He states that he will continue with his current approach, believing it to be appropriate. Judge Bray contends that the additional pay for some officers is not part of their salaries, but is supplemental duties. I still disagree and have continued to notify the public of only part, and he has continued to notify the public of only part of the salaries for some elected officials. The local government code requires any salaries, expenses, or allowances that are proposed to be increased, and the amount of the proposed increase to be published in the newspaper. The supplements continue to rise each year and therefore should also be published. The code also states that the county officer is paid an annual salary. The state or any county may not pay a fee, commission to the officer or performance of service by the officer. If the county is paying the extra service, that is a violation. The county pays these officials with one check reflecting both their regular pay and their supplement. If the pay is part of the job, the code requires that it be published. My second continuing concern is that the administration of salaries has been arbitrary. Raises for all employees have been substantial over the past several years. You discussed how to determine appropriate salaries each year. After repeated pleas, you commissioned a study comparing Blanco County salaries to those of surrounding counties. That was a great decision. However, Judge Bray has recently indicated that some of the larger counties should not have been included, and I agree. The study should be updated to better reflect the nature of Blanco County. Since the salary administration process was instituted, the Sheriff's Department has continuously pressed for exceptions to the policy. One position after another, they pushed for adjustments to the salary structure. Now Ms. Spees has appealed her salary as allowed by statute. With the adjustments being given, the salary administration process is being undermined one position at a time. The process needs to be improved, not destroyed. Please follow your process and improve it by updating it to better reflect the nature of Blanco County compared to similar counties. Your proposed budget is based on tax revenue that will support it. The newspaper notice of today's tax hearing states that there was a unanimous vote against consideration of the proposed increase. But the minutes from the last meeting indicate the record vote was unanimous for considering the tax increase. The published notice sends a message to the public that all of you will vote against the rate increase. Therefore, if opposed to the tax increase, the public would not feel the need to attend today's hearing. I suggest that you cancel today's tax hearing and repost it, reflecting the accurate record vote. Here's a copy of my comments for the public record.
Ms. Deanne Welch.
I am Deanne Welch of Blanco County. I object to every budget entry seeking salary increases for every elected official of this county. Each official sought her or his position at a rate of pay known to them, and each is responsible for knowing that the taxing system is lopsided against homeowners and renters in favor of landowners. I particularly object to the salary increases planned for the members of this court. My personal ethic and political philosophy do not permit me to use other people as means to my individual benefit. Yet I find myself living within a government which is doing just that. Stated belief. Until the legislature perfects tax justice for all, I expect my local leadership to refrain from self-serving policy of spending and abide state mandates such as thou shalt not covet. This budget proposal is right spending of dubious utility, excessive government, any benefit expected from the November constitutional amendment election shall be canceled. Budget increases should reflect inflation, not. I do support inflationary and therefore reasonable salary increases for non-elected and non-preferential personnel in service to the administration of Blanco County. Unfortunately, anti-DEI policies have distorted objectivism for measuring competency among employees. But biased or not, it is essential to recognize injustice.
Those are the only two documented requests to speak on in this public that wishes to speak on the proposed 25-26 Blanco County budget. Anyone at all? With that, I'm going to the actual public hearing. The commissioners, you'll note that it says discussion as part of this item, and there's additional discussion opportunities further in the agenda. Does any commissioner wish to have a discussion, or should we move to the next public hearing? With that said, I close the public hearing on the budget and move to the public hearing on the proposed tax rate for 2025-26. The first to speak is Mr. Kenneth Welch.
All I have to say on the tax increase is that, again, I believe your posting is inaccurate, misleading to the public, because you posted that it was a unanimous vote to not consider the tax increase today, and here we are, considering the tax increase.
The next to speak is Miss Deanne Welch.
I am Deanne Welch of Blanco County. On Wednesday, August the 13th, I received through the mail my copy of the Johnson City Record Courier. Subsequent to that date, another issue dated August 13th was received. Naturally, I compared the two copies and discovered a discrepancy concerning the required legal notice for conducting this hearing. The first copy failed to include the tax rate adjustments being proposed this year, while the second copy did include this statutorily required comparison. However, both copies falsely noted that the 5 of you voted against the proposed tax rate increase. I witnessed each of you voting for the tax rate hike. And the minutes from the August 12th court meeting, item number 21, confirm my belief that the legal notice provided for this hearing is invalid. My past observation of this court provokes my distrust. Each of you campaigned and were elected on the Republican Party ticket, of which platform item number 75 pledges to axe the property tax, stating, "We support replacing the property tax system for businesses and individuals with an alternative other than the income tax, and requiring voter approval to increase the overall tax burden," unquote. Yet rather than reduce the tax burden with the goal of replacing it, taxpayers of Blanco County are to be burdened with successive rate increases together with unverified assessment increases, both of which have been calculated to meet your demands for greater spending. I suggest that you void this hearing due to fallacious notice of tax increase published in the local newspaper of record.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak at this public hearing on the proposed tax rate for 2025-26? Do the commissioners wish to discuss it at this time? In that case, I'm going to close the public hearing on the proposed tax rate and return to our regular meeting, which has as a first item, public comment. First up is Mr. Kenneth Welch.
Item 11 on your agenda proposes to increase the distance of patrol. Deputy may authorize to take home county patrol car. I believe the practice of allowing deputies to take home the vehicles was established across the country to facilitate rapid response when called to duty unexpectedly. The practice has transitioned from being a benefit to the department to a benefit for the deputy. By allowing deputies to use the patrol car as a means of transportation to and from work, the practice has become a perk for the deputies. If you continue to increase the distance allowed for this practice, you are reducing the benefit to the county and increasing the benefit to the individual deputy. Increasing the allowed distance to 45 miles will reduce the likelihood that officers will live in or near Blanco County as members of the community, increase the cost of the county for fuel, vehicle maintenance, and overtime pay to increase due to the increased distance to get to work, reduce the life expectancy of the vehicle, increase response time when unexpectedly called to duty, which would be counter to reduce emergency response time anticipated with the original concept, and reduce visible vehicle availability during the deputy's off-duty days and hours, resulting in the need for a larger vehicle fleet. This is another attempt to circumvent the salary administration policy by disguising an indirect financial perk for the deputy as a benefit to the county. Benefits to the county will be diminished by increasing the distance to 45 miles, which will extend east of Austin, south of downtown San Antonio, north of Lampasas, and west of Harper. Items 13 and 18 will adjust salary ranges for jobs to pay grade 109 and increase the salary of Kristen Speed by $8,000. Doing so will disrupt the pay structure that has been established and encourage additional requests to adjust to help individuals. The pay grade structure is established following an assessment of job duties and responsibilities, blind to individuals holding those positions. The ranges from the minimum to maximum are meant to allow for personal factors such as prior experience, certifications, job performance, and time on the job, and should be adjusted annually for inflation. An individual that is consistently at the maximum should be considered for promotion. The minimum of the salary range does not imply entry pay. It merely means the pay of a qualified individual's responsibility should not be lower. Your effort to address the salary administration process is admirable. Don't give it up. Consider updating the overall salary table, making necessary changes based on the responsibilities of the jobs and the demographics to comparable communities. Here's a copy for the record.
Next up, Ms. Deanne Welch.
I am Deanne Welch of Blanco County. I object to the proposed salary increase of $8,000 for a total fiscal year 25-26 salary of $78,974 as described in item 18 of today's August 26th agenda.
Is there anyone else that has public comment? We'll close the public comment, and before moving to item 1, point out that under the Texas Attorney General's handbook on open meetings, it says that for public hearings and public comment periods, the court can discuss matters raised. And more of interest to me, it uses the that was referenced a few minutes ago was the mistake of the newspaper and their attempt to literally republish the entire newspaper again at their expense and recirculate it to everyone. I'm not sure, honestly, this morning is the first I've ever heard of a misreport of the vote. And my recommendation to the court is that we're going into executive session at the end of this meeting anyway regarding a settlement offer. And we probably should go ahead and consult with the attorneys and review the documentation to see where we are on that. In addition, this is my time. In addition, I do want to respond, and just for another minute or two. We don't agree on very much, but we do agree on some things. The problem is, over the years, they've been presented in such a caustic and character assassinating manner that it's hard to agree. But I have to say that I believe it was the last meeting that Mrs. Welch indicated that we keep lots of revenue. And I think she referenced a number of years. And you can go back 6 or 8 years, and if you look at it, she is absolutely right. We have raised a lot of money over the period. And I don't have an answer for that. I look around, you can look around today and look at the budgets that are being proposed by our neighbors. They're raising more, a lot more money. And I think it has to do with, a lot of it has to do with just inflation. And I don't have the single power to stop inflation in Blanco County. I sometimes wonder if I had, when I got elected originally, if I had taken as extreme a position as I could take and frozen everything and tried to keep these four from not spending another nickel, I really suspect people would still be coming up to the podium and criticizing that the roads suck, they can't get any services from any of the counters, and there's no officers anywhere to be found. So I don't think I don't think there's a way out of it that's palatable to anyone. I think that increases are a fact of life everywhere, not even just Texas, but everywhere. I think, and an interesting thing was made. This comment was made about don't begrudge the employees getting some sort of an increase, but begrudge the commissioners or myself or other elected officials getting some kind of increase, which I think is interesting because I have never gone to a gas station or a grocery store or a hair cutter or anybody else and then give me a special discount or tell me that I can have the price that it was back in 2014. I get the same price as everybody else. So I don't see a good piece to that argument. I really don't mind being told I'm wrong. I don't mind, nobody likes to be told they're wrong, but it's a fair discussion. I don't mind being thought of as stupid. I don't think certain people understand the definition of the word corrupt because it's a very offensive phrase and it's also a baseless phrase. There's never been and never is going to be, because it doesn't exist, any kind of evidence to show corruption. You might want to call it misguided. You might want to call it misinformed or just wrong-headed. And that's fair, and I can live with that. I do this job so I can do that job. I really wanted to be county attorney. There was a problem. My wife and daughter felt like they needed to eat regularly. So timing wasn't such that I could do that. Worked out good for everybody in this room. You got upgraded. But I love the law, and that's why I do. I have a double bachelor's in business and finance. I have a minor in statistics and actuarial analysis. This isn't that hard. I do this so I can do that. But it's still, I don't sleep so well at night with the comments, because I look at the numbers too, and it's like more money. I do sleep pretty well at night with one thing though in mind, and then we'll go on and move to the minutes. I do sleep pretty well at night when someone comes up here and complains, and they haven't actually paid another dime in taxes to Blanco County in a decade because their taxes are frozen. Now, I can't speak for the school districts, I can't speak for emergency service districts, and I can't speak for cities, but I can speak for the Blanco County employees freezing folks at 65. And the comeback is, well, but you're hurting the working man. Well, then the working man should come to this public hearing and say something to us. And frankly, the working man knows all four of these people on a very familiar basis because they're out in the county every single day. And I guarantee you the working man and woman tells them exactly what's on their mind. They don't come into this room with just a piece of paper and a blinders on. They're quite clear on what the situation is in Blanco County. With all that said, I'm going to move to item 1 and ask the commissioners to consider the minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Eager, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. Item 2. Line item transfer, there's actually 2, I believe. One is for your approval or denial, which from me, and one is for your ratification of precinct 1 constable's office that I approve.
To make a motion to ratify and approve both line item transfers as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Riley. Get back to please. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. Outstanding bills.
So I do have one question on the outstanding bills, and it's for Commissioner Riley. On this, on the capital aggregates, is that for a project that's getting done?
Yes. It's on the Rolling Hills and Rocky River Run project.
But did we contract with a vendor to do this 100%, or did
No,
we?
I paid for the aggregate, I paid for the Rontex.
And that's how,
materials.
that's how it was laid out in the
Yes.
bid proposal?
Yes,
Okay.
we're paying for that.
So I make a motion to approve the bills in the amount of $225,588.68 and ratify the bills in the amount of $3,253.84.
Is there a second? Commissioner. On this agenda is because they matter to somebody up to mine, and they're
We'll make a motion to authorize the county judge to sign a proclamation declaring September 22 through 26, 2025 as Fall Prevention Awareness Week in Wacom County.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Riley, discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. The next item's an odd one. The architect has asked us to, wrote me and asked me to pick a color for the roof, and this is the entire roof that's gonna be replaced, as you can see on the second page of your insert. And I went to Ms. Swift and the architect recommended a color. All three colors look so similar to me. I didn't really have a choice. I asked her, she had a choice, got thinking about it, decided that this is gonna be around a long time, I hope. And it should be on you all to have to make that choice. So I'm hoping that you all can come together and decide on one of these three reds. Or there's a whole nother plate of colors if you want to go blues and something else, but I think most people think that staying with what we had, similar to what we had, is a good idea.
Can you advise to what the discussion was on what y'all thought?
The architect, Stan Klein, likes the bright red, which is the one at the bottom of the page. And I believe that Ms. Swift liked scarlet or rustic. And she's looking down and not telling me, so I can't remember.
Let me start.
Okay, she liked the rustic.
The one on the bottom of the rest, I just didn't like the scarlet.
In your thought?
I like either one of those two, not the scarlet. I mean, I don't even care about the scarlet, but it is a little bit lighter and brighter. But I like the other two just fine, and to me, they look like, I'm assuming that photo that you're looking down at is what's existing. And so to me, they both kind of look like that, so it would be fine. The only thing I would note is, and this is, I guess, to the point of the architect many months ago, when he said that the cupola was in dire need of assistance, because if you look at the color of that cupola, it's just almost gone. It's 110 years old.
And the thing is, how old?
110, roughly.
So I make a motion to move forward with a bright red color for the roof of the courthouse.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Weir, discussion? All in favor? Did you have discussion?
Discussion for the public's knowledge. Bright red is not bright red. It's not fire engine red, okay? It's not what it looks like on the sheet. I will give you this sheet for reference, but anyway.
Fair enough. Anything else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. It's got my name on here, but really this is Mr. Walston, and if you want to come up, Mr. Walston has been looking at updating the on-site sewage facility application and fee schedule.
Good morning, gentlemen. So on the application, the only thing that's really changed is I added a slot for them to put down a gate code. So when we try to make entry into the property, we already have all the adequate information. On the old permit applications, there was not a spot for the installer or his contact information. However, we still did require it, and we still just hand wrote it onto the applications. So I've added a slot for that, and those are the only two things that have really changed on the application itself. I've taken some things off that are no longer in need for designing septic systems, just because of the way the state has changed their design setup. So that's the only things on the application. And then on the fee schedule, as y'all know, we have been filing the permits and everything with the county clerk's office. Unfortunately, we have not been collecting payments for that. So I've figured out the average costs on a conventional system and an aerobic system and set that into the fee schedule that final approval of the systems will not be done until we receive that payment. That's all I've really done.
Two things.
Yes, sir.
So does that last thing you just said assist Ms. Walla?
Yes. Yes, it will collect, I will collect the filing fees for when we take the permit to Ms. Walla to get filed in the county clerk's office, and I will hand the payments over to her at that time. But it's just getting the customers to actually pay for it instead of the county eating that bill.
So we've solved the dilemma,
Yes, sir.
if they choose to do this.
Yes.
And then secondly, on the gate code, I don't know what else might be on here, but, and I don't see Ms. Ashby in the room, but, you recognize that there may be some things that are sensitive information that would be blocked out in an open meeting, open records request.
Yes.
Okay.
And that will be the gate codes, and I believe at the bottom it says, emails and phone numbers will also be redacted before it's filed with the county clerk.
Right.
So,
So,
and gate codes will get added onto that list as well.
so you're asking the court to approve your changes and new,
In the new wording on the application and the addition of the filing fees. Thank you.
Before I go to
Yes.
that point, are you gonna stick around or are you gonna?
Yes, I'll stick
Okay,
around.
if you'll stick around.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I would like to make a motion to approve the updated OSSF application and fee schedule.
there a second? Commissioner Riley, discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 10 is the updated sheriff and constable fee schedule. If we can have anybody you want up, as I understand it, the constable, both constables and the sheriff collaborated, and this is a result of their collaboration.
Yeah, I move to approve the 2026 updated sheriff and constable fee schedule as required under Texas Local Government Code, section 118.131.
Is there a second? Commissioner Eager, discussion?
We are using the proposed, that's your motion, the proposed section?
Yes.
Okay.
Anything else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I put continued discussion at the end. It also says vote on any action taken. I don't know that, if we're gonna resolve it today or not, maybe we will. But the concern that we have is one of you commented, one or more of you commented last time that you wanted additional research. And I don't know what additional research has been done or needs to be done to have this discussion. So here we are discussing the patrol deputies authorized for take-home vehicles and the radius that they're allowed to do so, and the sheriff is here again.
What I'm asking for is 45 miles, air miles. We're currently at 30. We've been at 30 for a long time. What this will do is will increase my pool from applicants. It's still up to me to make the final decision whether I let them do that. As of right now, it's got to be in a secure spot and whatever. Most agencies in the area have increased theirs to 50. Matter of fact, I checked on Travis County. They're not parking with us anymore because they can, wherever that guy lived, he can drive it. All it does is increase our application pool. As of right now, I've got one person that would affect by 2 miles. I don't have any applicants and further, it's one person. As of right now, about 2 miles. But it would be able to increase other applicants that would be interested if they had that opportunity. It's still, they're required to be here on duty within an hour. And if they can't do it with that 45 miles, then they're not going to be able to do it. So they wouldn't get the take home. I have to know that they can do it, be on duty within an hour. Reporting here on duty in the county.
It's funny that you said Travis County's changed. I just noticed last week when I left work and turned and I saw Travis County marked unit going 290 headed west.
Yes, sir.
West.
Yeah.
And I know someone in this room who's married to someone with APD and they have a take-home vehicle.
Yes.
But APD and Travis County are way bigger budgets than us.
They are that, but as of right now, very few of my employees live in the county. They all live in the surrounding counties. Well, not all, but very few live in this county as it is. You know, but they can respond here within an hour, and that's what is required in the general orders.
So Judge, I think it was me that asked for a little bit of time to do a little research. I did talk with Llano County and I didn't get their specific mileage, but I do know that they have a deputy that lives in Bertram that works in Llano. So, you know, so that, I know that. And then we ran some sort of numbers and, you know, I got some assistance on that. And it looked like it, you know, that additional mileage might cost you $2,000 a year of that patrol unit going.
Right. And it's not for every, you know,
It's not for everyone.
I'm talking one or two. You know, I have one person now and I have no openings. So I don't know. All it's going to do is be able to increase mine.
So with that being said, I'll make a motion to increase the radius from 30 miles to 45 air miles for patrol deputies that are authorized to take home the vehicle based from the sheriff's authorization.
Is there a second?
I'll say.
Commissioner Weir, seconds, discussion.
Thank you.
Hang on. I would say that, the part that bothers me more, just personally, is not the $2,000 in additional whatever. It's the increased rate that we're going through vehicles because they're racking up more miles. It bothers me. I offset that with the assertion that they'll be able to keep deputies or attract deputies.
Well, and I would say, you know, if you look at our mileage on these vehicles, I have some deputies that live right here that put a ton of miles on them. I have some deputies that live right here that don't put any miles on them. That's fine. Every deputy works differently. It depends what, you know, what they're doing. A lot of these CIDs and stuff, they're not putting a whole lot of miles on them. It's the ones that really work traffic, those are the ones that put a whole lot of miles on.
Do you have any kind of a policy? I didn't know I was gonna have this question. Do you have any kind of a policy of, if you have a deputy that's not putting on many miles and you have a deputy that's putting on a ton of miles, switching out vehicles with them?
We do not at this time. What we do is we try to replace the ones.
I know, but I'm saying that.
If we get a newer car and that one still has miles, we try to give that one to the one with a lot of miles to the newer person. Just to see how it, but as of right now, no, we don't have that big a fleet. I mean, compared to, we've got a vehicle per person. We don't have a lot of pool cars.
Sheriff, let me ask you, if you were to find a guy that was, or a deputy that was abusing.
Absolutely.
They're 45 miles out or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're abusing, I mean, how do you address that? You take the car away?
Take the take-home car away. Absolutely, yeah. If they don't keep them clean, I take them away.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they can pay for it to get clean. If they're gonna take it home, they can clean it. And they can also get it serviced on their time off.
So if somebody reports that they see them at Walmart.
Oh, yes.
It's loaded with
Yeah.
car and stuff, then you investigate that.
Yes, we do look into, yes.
Anyone else?
Having one person per car, I worked a fleet And if you keep the same person in that vehicle, it will last longer.
It does. Everybody drives different, and a car, believe it or not, learns what that driver does. And you have a pool car like an APD, and it's a different shift and those cars don't last near as long. People drive differently, and plus people know when the car's not acting right. If another person got in there, they just think that's the way the car always does. So, yeah, everybody gets to know the car gets to know the people.
I guess, never mind. Okay, anything else? I was about to confess about using rent cars, but I won't. Anything else?
Thank you.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item 12, broadband development. And Mr. McCullough's here.
Yeah, come on. So I request to put this on the agenda. I've been getting bombarded with emails from these people, and I want to get a court decision on how we move forward. So Dave, would you give us the information on that?
Yeah, let me provide just a hair bit of history and clarification. We worked with the commissioners in the county on a grant to deploy broadband. That was maybe a year ago, give or take. Along this journey, another grant became available, and at the time, the grant writer and whoever decided that we should go ahead and apply for it. So these are two different programs I want to make very clear. The one that's we're discussing today is a program that's set up by the state to pay for a study for Blanco County for broadband development. In other words, and that identify gaps in the county, identify technology gaps. Yes, sir.
And the study is by the people that he's been bombarded with emails?
Correct. So the state has elected Cobb, Findley, and Associates. They're out of Austin, Texas, or an engineering firm, et cetera. And they do this around the state of Texas. They work with the Broadband Development Office for these analysis.
Is there more?
Oh, I can talk all day.
Well, you said grant, but actually it was grant application. We never got a grant.
Yeah, we did.
The grant that we got.
Oh, from the actual deployment of broadband, correct. That was not awarded. This is a separate program.
And it would be a grant to pay.
For the analysis to.
Pay these people to do an analysis.
That is correct.
And being the local internet provider in the county, what is your recommendation? Or would this help us or not?
That's a tough one. Here's where I see the value. The analysis itself will provide some level of insight. I'd say most of the stuff already independent corporations already doing demographics within the county. We already do that. Competitors already do that. We already have that data. So most of this data will be repetitive. However, value will come in if the county partners with us or an internet provider to go after future monies. With this analysis, it will add more weight to potentially being awarded for future monies.
So here's the question that wasn't asked, but I think is very important. If I understand from the conversation we had, and I think they all need to know this, because what you just said is it might be helpful and it's state dollars. It's not going to cost Blanco County money.
Not direct cost, but soft cost because it's personnel and some time. But yes.
Okay. Money is going to be state money that they pay to this company
Yes.
to do the analysis.
Correct.
But what your concern is what I guess you call the soft cost, because can you detail, there were
Yes.
several aspects to that.
Yes. So number one is the state is expecting to work with an county official, an appointed person to head up the broadband committee. That's always gonna be a person on the county's payroll today. They'll have to take some duties and work with this. They'll have to also bring the committees together, work with this company. And this is not just one meeting. This is an in-depth analysis of also reaching out to the county residents, discussing how their broadband is. So there's a large level of effort, as I see, that the county and the committee will have to do. Now, not all committee members are required to be county employees or county appointed, but there needs to be the chair is expected to be a county employee.
Let me veer off for just a second.
Yes.
And bring you back onto the page.
Okay.
I thought the committee was Amber Fry, before,
Mhm.
Amber Fry, the county representative,
Yes,
yourself. And we found that we all thought that Constable Busey had, I don't want to say expertise, but a lot of experience in this area. And it would make, what I did not know until this week, and maybe other people did in our office, was that there were more members on this committee, people I never heard of.
there were more people identified. The committee was never formed, but identified, yes.
Oh,
The committee never actually took off.
well, but if this committee's about to be reformed, I'm not saying I agree with that, but if it is, I don't really want to put all the work on a county person.
That's
Most county people have enough to do.
I do believe our county is stretched, yes, and already loaded with duties. That is a true statement.
What's the timeframe? Is there?
For start to finish the whole project, I don't have that information. I know surrounding count or other counties have done this. The initial was probably a year, 10 months to a year. Now, I would say post that, it's somewhat ongoing, but at a less strenuous amount of work. So, but it's one of these things, once you develop a broadband committee, the state puts this level of effort in it, they don't want you to decommission the commission after a year. After this is done, they want you to continue investing into the future development of broadband policies, changes within the environment, competitors' growth. They expect this to continue on, is what they would expect. I'm sorry?
Or what's normal for meetings?
And the onset monthly.
Monthly.
And I could see potentially there'll be some months you may skip because there's just research being formed, but monthly in the beginning minimum.
So with your comment earlier, you said that you and your competitors already pretty much do this anyway?
Most of this analysis in here, yes, sir. I mean, so just be blunt, we're for profit and we're not gonna spend $1,000 if there's no market there. And that's what this is identifying.
And that was,
And the commissioners have, we had all those maps
Yes,
a couple of years ago that showed potential, not potential, build out, not build out.
correct. Now, there is some added value, for example, whether I don't necessarily study other counties, but they will bring information of what other Texas counties are doing to support broadband development, whether it's policies around developers or development, road construction, all of these other different ways to fund broadband development. They will bring that to the table. Not that that can't be handled other ways, but they do bring some insight there that we don't pay attention to because it's not in our wheelhouse.
So I don't know if there's a better place, but this might be as good a place as any to ask Ms. Busey to come up and introduce her to the court as the newly acquired grant assistance program person. And also going to help assist Camille with hotel tax a little.
Yes.
And her She has a very fine resume and a lot of credentials, but in order to acquire her, we have to make some concessions, so she's not full-time, so I worry a little bit about this notion of chairing a committee that's gonna meet monthly and do all this research when she's got a limited bandwidth.
Yes, so as I understand, my main duties are to help the county, like our officials and our department heads, get state and federal funding through grants. And then also assist with hotel tax. And so with that growing workload, it would be like another scheduling challenge to also chair a committee. But if that's within like my duties, and it's the wishes of the county, then this is something we can pursue. It'll just be it'll be a stretched time frame as it is. Anything else?
Anyone?
I'd rather see you do what you're doing and just have more time to do it well.
Yes.
Versus keep loading you down. I've seen that happen in the county before where they just keep giving them responsibilities
Mhm.
to where all of a sudden they're not there.
So maybe that's an element of this. Maybe we go back and make sure that you and Commissioner Leisman have, not you, that you and Mr. Cook, and Commissioner Leisman have a real clear understanding of the value, whether we should or shouldn't
We can do it.
do this TAP grant thing. No, I mean,
Right now.
I know for all of us.
Okay, one thing I was also thinking through is future monies. Previous federal administration that allocates dollars to these programs was in high favor of these. Current administration has less favorable opinions on this. So as for what I mentioned earlier, the value of us pursuing future monies, we do see that tap it spigot being slowly turned off. So I'm not sure how much more future monies would be available. I honestly don't know in future years. Stating that, I do think learning from other counties, if the commissioners are really vested into promoting broadband within the county and looking at every avenue possible, I think there's value in learning from what other counties do. In other words, like I mentioned, there are counties that when there's road construction, you automatically put in interduct simultaneously, so they can be used for future fiber in that area. Those are programs that already exist in other counties. Does it make sense here? I don't know, but those are ideas.
So that we all know how much grief we catch with a new developer. Now, if the developer says that, hey, I'm gonna put this in there, that's one thing. But if I try to go in there and tell him that he has to put in cabling for fiber and a new subdivision, how much more pushback am I gonna get in that scenario? I don't know. And obviously, in today's world, a lot of people work from home and high-speed internet is very beneficial.
Required.
So,
Well, I would question that you have the authority to tell them they can, but it seems to me it's a lot like fire suppression where you strongly suggest that they should.
yeah.
Mhm.
But if a developer's doing overhead utility services, what's your aspect in that? You just run on utility poles?
Typically,
Okay.
That's what most carriers would end up doing. That is correct.
But if they're going through the money to trench and put in underground utilities, then, it's only feasible to go ahead and drop in, conduits.
It's logical.
For future growth.
Exactly, that's logical.
But it's a selling point for that developer, not necessarily a mandate from the county.
That's the way it's historically been. That's correct. Mhm. Now, there are other areas in the state of Texas that they do require developers do those kind of things.
So trying to conclude this, what's how much of a penalty box are we in if we don't?
I would have to ask Commissioner Leeseman to follow up with them.
I followed up with them, tried to get them to come to this meeting and they wouldn't do that, so.
I mean, I guess my question would be kind of back to county. I've never applied for county grants at the state, but if you are awarded a grant and you decide not to do it, historically, were there problems or a penalty?
Well, I guess that's not, I'm sorry, it's not really what I'm asking. If we applied for this, we're just passing through the money to these people to do an analysis.
Say that again.
If we applied for this grant,
Uh-huh.
it's just to pass the money through for them to, they get paid to do an analysis.
Yes.
I'm asking, when I said penalty box, I meant if something came along and money came available to
Mhm.
do some infrastructure, going out 1623 or 962 or whatever,
Gotcha.
does not doing this put us in a penalty box?
I'll say it the reverse way. I wouldn't say put you in a penalty box. Doing this adds check boxes, but not having a check box isn't necessarily a penalty, if that makes sense. It's favorably looked upon, but not required. And I will say, when this was put together with Amber Fry, the state, I'd say only, they awarded, I believe, 6 counties. So this was not a widespread across the board. I mean, there were a lot of counties that applied, 6 or so, I can't remember the exact number, were awarded.
So are you saying that we actually did apply for a grant to get this awarded to Blanco County?
Yes.
And we did get it,
Yes.
but we did not.
This,
We did.
we did. Now, this is a different grant than what we were previously. This was done, this was done by Amber Fry with some direction that we should apply for this as a technical assistance program. Now, this was at least a year ago when this was applied. It's been a while. Be investing into broadband development within our county. Is it needed? Also, the resources required of the county to continually participate in this.
The second question is definitely in play, but the first one isn't even a question, is it?
I mean, not speaking for every commissioner up here, yes, I believe y'all generally support it, obviously, but to what extent? In other words, how much do you want to invest into that to truly get analysis? Maybe y'all never seen these analysis. You would want to see that. Why are certain internet providers focusing on certain areas, not other areas, because they see different growth than y'all do? For example, north 281 up toward the border, the county border. Not a lot of infrastructure up there, but y'all see the development we do. So are there initiatives that the county would want to take to encourage private companies to develop up there, or just let free economic system work for itself?
Well, I think it's a density question, and we encourage larger tracts, 5 acres and above, to get these large subdivisions like one in my precinct, where they considered it going with they did underground electrical, and they said, man, we can go right in and lay it in there.
Exactly.
And they started doing the numbers of how many miles it was versus how many total customers they could possibly have.
More profitable.
Put a tower up.
More profitable for them.
You solve that whole problem with the tower, and the rest of it went away.
Yes, sir.
But I can see where in higher density areas, broadband, I mean, it's something that people could look at now and take advantage of. But it's all about dollar benefit for nothing. If you look at an area that just doesn't have that many customers, how do you invest in that?
Exactly.
Just be a good patron,
And that was developer A, but developer B in Leeseman's area chose not to do anything.
Yeah.
It's in the same county. And so those are just choices.
Must we decide this today? Is there a deadline or is there time?
I know they're hammering on Commissioner Leishman for an answer. Can it be postponed a month? I'm sure it can. It's what you tell them is like, hey, we didn't get a vote, so we'll be talking next month or something, that we need to talk more internally or have more conference calls with this group to maybe understand the value differently.
I mean, I don't know, somehow my name got thrown in here, so I don't know exactly how, but, I just, I would like to, give them either an answer that, yeah, we're gonna proceed or we're not gonna proceed. And honestly, I agree with you, we already have maps, I'm not in the internet business, however, my constituents want high-speed internet in their homes, so, I do work for them. But I don't know how to move forward with it. I mean,
I feel like we ought to digest this a little bit, but I hate,
that's fine.
maybe I'm kicking the can, but personally, I don't know about the others.
I have no problem
But
pushing.
if you have an action you want to take, I'm not arguing it, I just don't, I'm not quite sure what action to take.
Can I make a motion to put Connie as the committee chair?
Absolutely.
No.
So I say let's digest it, and let's put it back in the agenda next time and, come back with a solution.
I think one final comment, and I apologize for jumping in during the recommended vote, is part of it is, what do the commissioners feel is y'all's role in the encouragement of public policy for broadband development? In other words, do you feel like you're going to require developers to put it underground? Or are you going to require road construction to put it underground? If you feel like that's really who we are, that's not what we historically done, I'd say then I'd probably recommend don't pursue this. If y'all really want to get into that level of detail and recommendation within the county and setting those public policies, enforcing private companies to do certain activities with broadband, then I'd say it's worth a deeper discussion to learn what could come out of this.
So when you come back, could you possibly, you and Kelly, have a conversation or two and try to reach a recommendation
Sure.
to the court, what we should do or shouldn't do?
Absolutely.
And also look at the items that was omitted to see if we want to put those in the other ones, if you see that it's fit for us to proceed with this.
Okay.
In those emails, they had some line items that was omitted from the request, so
Correct.
just give us your recommendation, because I don't know.
Okay. We can do that.
Thank you both.
Yes. Thank you.
Item 13 is a request for the approval to make an adjustment in the salaries, grades and schedules. We have a grade 109 and a grade 110. And the starting salaries were fine, they were different, and this was all created under the study. Unfortunately, somehow or other, the midpoints weren't spread out. They were repeated, and we are suggesting, so as not to disrupt the entire salary schedule, front to back, top to bottom, that we just break the midpoints of a 109. Is it 109 and 110? If I got that right, or is it 108, 109? I can't remember.
I believe it was 8 and 9 were the same.
All right. Breaking up the midpoint in 108, leaving the midpoint in 108 and taking the midpoint in 109 up about $2,000. And also the maximum, by the way, the 109 maximum would go up $2,000. So that there is a differentiation between a salary grade 108 and a salary grade 109 all the way across the road.
I make a motion to authorize the county judge to correct the midpoint maximum salary for the pay grade 109 FY 25-26.
Is there a second? Commissioner Reed, for discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Replat.
That here is a replat plat in Rockland J. Slots 967, 968. Combination of two tracks, two lots, excuse me. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the replat on lots 967, 68, Rockland J, to be known as lot 967A.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Riley, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 15, replat.
Item 15, same subdivision, it's another two tracks, known as 1277 and 1278. Again, it's just they're merging together, making one track. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the replat lots of 1277 and 78. New lot to be known as 1277A.
Is there a second? Commissioner Eager, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Replat.
Same thing, Rock and J, just two lots being turned into one, so I move to approve the replat of lots 891 and 891, or 892, and Rock and J subdivision to be known as 891A.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Commissioner Weir, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Takes us to ongoing budget discussions. Which, by the way, we also listed, if we have any like sub issues that we want to take care of to get prepared for the next time, we did list that votes could be taken on actions on this item. Okay. So there's 3 page, there's 3 pages of notes of things that were adjusted from the August 12th meeting, resulting from the discussion then.
Judge?
The gov cap, yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going down the line, but you have.
No, okay, I'll get, you go down the line.
The gov cap lease reflects. How do I say this? The sheriff was giving, well, there was the duplication of the Ford truck. So that was reduced by that. There was the reduction in some radios.
Three radios,
And there was something else.
the sheriff's truck and accessories.
That's right, the sheriff was giving up his truck and his accessories. And so that reduced the gov cap number to what you see on the right.
So do we want to talk specifically to GovCap right now?
Why not?
Okay, so in your GovCap on page 40, we talked about the iWorks program of removing that 18,300. So,
But and the reason I left it in is that at the end of the discussion, you were explaining, all of the advantages and how you were gonna be able to tell me how to do my job better, by examining OSSF permits. And so, well, if you got that many uses for it, I wasn't gonna take it out. You asked for it.
so, okay, but, well, so here's the deal. As Paul would say, here's the deal. So iWorks program does a lot of things. We've talked about a lot of different aspects to it, and to an extent that goes way beyond everything that we currently have. I've talked to Chris, Nagel in reference to this. And Chris is currently using what program for your assets? Stipend? Okay, so in this information that I shared with you earlier, did you see a benefit to this?
Absolutely.
Okay, so, and then in Ty, the reason I asked for you to stay was because at the very bottom of that, you have a Safe Program LLC, which is just another type of addition. So you've looked at this program as well, correct? The iWorks program? And what is your thoughts on that?
I am fine either way.
Either way.
Safe is specifically designed for septic, but iWorks fills every need that I have. So I am fine going either direction.
Okay, and then Melinda has iWorks in here for additional 5,000. Obviously, I was misinformed the last time whenever I said that if we took the 18.3 out, she would still have enough money, but I think there was a $2,000 difference that she would have needed to add. So with that all being said, iWorks, the one for 18,300 would take the 5,000 out and the 6,584 out. Or we take the iWorks out and put 7,000 for Melinda's software and the 6,584 for the permitting, and then we call it a day. But however, all of that being said, all of this is software. So should it actually even come all completely out of capital equipment and move to the IT department? And another idea, another thought is maybe we just put a dollar amount in there and let our new IT department maintenance or manager maybe come back to the table and say, hey, here's a program that fits countywide. Just to try not to duplicate resources.
Well, that's a lot of questions. I don't want, I think you're right that ultimately it belongs in the department, but we don't really have the department set up very well yet. So I guess I'm reluctant to want to do that. Plus, it's listed here because we can finance, even that little bit, we can finance over 2 years. And that was the, and if you look at the next line that we're going to discuss, which is transfer, it's so large that we need to break everything we can up into a 2-year time frame. So I don't have a problem with it being on this page this year. I can understand why you might want to move it next year. But as to which one and which one stays and which one goes, I don't know, it's up to y'all.
Well, so if you look at Melinda's request, let's just say that we took the 18.3 out and you put 7,000 there and 6,500 in for Ty's request, that's 13, 13,000. What if we put a $20,000 limit on it and then go from there, or an $18,000 limit on it? I don't know. It's
the only thing, I don't care if you want our work statement, but I guess I care if it's gonna make me have to fill out a form to change a light bulb, but I'm a little concerned. I think Ty is he's new to the county and he's trying to get along, and I think he'll go the way. But anytime anybody says to me, I've got a program that is made to do this thing, or I've got a program that will do this thing, I like the more
specific.
The more exclusive one for that function, so.
And I guess just for me to piggyback onto that, and I can agree to that because, I use programs all the time in my business. However, the thought process, or my thought process in this would be a more of a visual, where the rest of the county could see additional, see where these things are happening and kind of calculate where the growth's happening. But again, I'm fine either way.
We need to
Make a decision.
Keep going.
I think if, there's certain departments that want to use it, that's fine. There's other departments that don't want to use it. I'm gonna push them and force them to use it. So if it fits maintenance, the other program sheet, I'm fine with it. But I don't, you don't need to make it a county standard for everybody.
I agree with you, but that didn't help.
So could there just be a software for 15,000 or 18,000 that we put in there, and then it can be determined? It don't have to be specific hours. I mean, it can be, if Chris finds a different asset tracking component that he likes,
Sure, we could do that, but aren't you leaving some vagueness where they might not know what direction to take?
Well, I would assume, I would hope that our new IT department would be reaching out to all the elected officials in all the departments to get.
So you're thinking this isn't necessarily a October 1?
No, sir. No, sir. I think that if we have some money in there, I think that the new IT director would be able to work through all the different offices and come up with a game plan of, hey, this program works across the board. Or it's this program and this program. Maybe it's two programs. Maybe it stays separate. It doesn't matter, but in my opinion, I would just like to see some money invested in a software that would benefit the county as a whole.
Judge, what would it look like to move that over to the IT department? And if Tommy, if whoever doesn't necessarily need that program, then we don't have it.
That's two of you that have suggested that, which is a clear signal to me. I ought to think about it or do that. The problem, not problem, just remember that by doing that, when we move it over, we're adding another 10,000-ish to the transfer, because we'll be paying because the IT department will be paying for the whole thing this year.
Okay.
That's okay, just making sure you understand.
Yeah.
So, what do you all want to move to IT?
Well, so let's talk about one more thing, if we're gonna talk about IT. Chris sent me an email yesterday referencing Microsoft 365 GCC G3, correct? Chris, can you explain to the Commissioners Court what the perks are of that?
We need you to come up, because there's people out there in the world that want to hear.
Good morning. Currently, we're utilizing Microsoft Office 365, which we all know contains Word, Excel, PowerPoint. By moving to Microsoft 365 G3, this is a specific platform for government entities only. It allows us the ability to take all of our programs that we're using, combine them into a single platform, if you would, a single cost that allows everyone in the county access to these programs. An example would be Teams. Currently there are a couple of people that have it. Majority of the county does not. This also brings us into a security awareness area, cybersecurity. That this level, Microsoft has said this is the second highest level for security that they offer. The first level is the G5, which is twice as much. G3 is the best program we could see right now.
This started, the G3 conversation, or even the G5 conversation, started because, tell me, this is yes or no, started because the law enforcement center felt the need to have a more secure email system than what we currently have.
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, well.
That would be a good assumption though.
If you'll take my word for that.
Yep, I will.
Does the G3 help them.
Yes, but it takes our current email system and migrates it over to Microsoft, giving us a single platform for all our Office products and email.
But help them as far as security.
Security would be included in that, yes, sir. They would include two-factor authentication. The majority of the officers there utilize the web interface, which does not have two-factor authentication currently. So anybody with the username and password can access one of their accounts through the web interface. By going this route, we add layers of security, not just a single layer, but layers, plural.
And so what you provided, Commissioner Leisman, says that we get more stuff because everybody can have teams and we get more security. And it looks like rough math, it's like $14,000 more for the whole county.
More or less, yes.
Every user.
Yes, sir.
Oh, it says email accounts at the top. We have 108 email accounts now. What if we move to 115 email accounts?
Then the price goes up per person, per year. So I want to say it is currently around $20-ish per person per month. And it would go up to about $30-ish per person per month.
Really?
That doesn't make sense.
Why so much?
If I'm adding more accounts, why is my cost going up and not coming down?
That I don't know the answer. It may go down. I'm just going off of what I have been given right now on the 108, 110 users. That's the cost of what it would be today. So if we add users, the cost may go down. I don't know what that break point would be though. A lot of times vendors offer discounts after you hit certain number.
Right.
I don't know what that number would be.
So you're saying if it's 108 now, we went up to 118 or 128, it might go up. And
Yes,
if we get to 150, where there's some sort of break point, it might go down.
That's correct, yes, sir. But it's going to go up regardless. If we keep where we're at today, it's going to go up.
So with all of that being said, my thought process would be to, in your IT department, on that new line that says software licenses, change up from 26 to 41 plus 15, 18 for the other two, and just put it all in that one software license line item.
What's the 15, 18?
The septic and Melinda's iWorks stuff.
Okay.
So 42 and 15, so 57. Yeah. So do you, just put 57,000 in software license, or put, if you want to make it even numbers, put 60, and then you have,
Enough
you
in
know,
case people come on,
Or you-
more
or
people
you-
come on board over the next
yeah.
year. That'll cover
that's
that.
my recommendation.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll say,
Is Commissioner Weir seconds discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion carries. Do you understand, Ms. Harrison, that we're moving
Yeah,
the
we're,
iWork stuff and the other software out of here? And the total number on the line over in IT goes to 60.
yes.
And then y'all can work about, what the best programs are moving forward.
Mhm.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll go back onto the change page, which, I think you can, most of those, you can remember that these are the things we did as a result of the conversation. Looking for one, as I'm going down the page, that's, significant. And there's some that involve salaries, but I think we should probably go through the pages for that, unless you want to do it differently. In fact, In fact, I'm open to. what else you want.
Well, I mean, the first thing I want to look at, Judge, is you have on here items 31. Increase all salaries from current year by 6,000.
So, Commissioner Leisman, made the suggestion or brought it up, and that was part of the salary study, and we had over the past few years said that we were going to limit it to any of the positions that were under what the salary study dictated, that we were gonna try to move up only at $6,000 increments. The salary study puts the commissioners in salary group '24 with a minimum of $87,144, a midpoint of $92,688, and a maximum of $98,230. So he was not off point by pointing out that you all are below that. I think you're in the 70s right now, something. 72, 74. And so theoretically, you're below your minimum. This is another area where the salary study is troubling for me because, you know, I just did some real simple looking recently, and there's commissioners that are making $180,000, almost $200,000 a year, but they're in big counties. And there's commissioners that are making $14,000 a year over in, a little more than that, but about $14,000 a year over in Riall County. I think that's really interesting because Riall County, while it's a whole lot smaller than its population wise, they've got a lot going on over there. State parks and the Frio River and tourism and on and on and on. So it's really, in my mind, really hard to compare circumstances. And if you look right around at our very direct neighbors, in Llano County, in Llano County, the commissioners are making in the 60s mostly. And Llano County is certainly comparable to us in a lot of ways. So, all that to say, I wasn't thrilled, but I did go ahead and add the 6,000 in because it is consistent with what we have said over the last few years.
So Judge, what I'd like to point out though is, I mean, yes, I agree with Mr. Welch, and this page 107 needs to be reworked. And looking at line item 16 even, the difference between the minimum and the midpoint is like 64% difference, which I believe that if you was to do an average of the rest of the salaries in the elected officials paragraph and do, even if you did a 17%, that would increase that item 16 minimum to a $93,032.21.
So for people out there, 16 is the county judge row, and it's the only pay system I have seen. I'm not saying it's the only one that exists because I have examined 254 systems, but it is the only one that I have seen where the county judge has a significantly lower minimum salary than does a commissioner.
But in the midpoint, it changes. So that's what, I think there was
That's
a
the point, it's like it's a 60 something.
64%. So I think there was a mistake in that scenario. So I would like to change item 16 minimum to $93,032.21. Now, this is a minimum, but that's also, I would like to make a motion to increase the salary at $6,000 for that position as well. To match the commissioners.
So, I'm not sure I captured your motion.
Okay. Well, let me talk about one more thing before I get into a motion. The other problem I have is there's two sheriffs. There's 118 and 36. The 36 is on the top side of it, which is all elected. I don't know why it is on the bottom down there. Both of them have different salaries. So I don't know why there's a sheriff at the bottom of it and then there's a sheriff at the top. Being an elected position, I assume it should have been referenced from the top.
Yeah, but all I can say sort of defensively is that none of that, that I don't believe, unless somebody wants to correct me, that any of that was the work product of the auditor, the treasurer, my office, or that this all came from the study, I believe.
I agree. So I would make a motion to remove line item 118. Use line item 36 for the sheriff. And then increase the minimum salary for line item 16 to $93,032.21. Giving the sheriff, the commissioners, and the county judge a maximum salary increase of $6,000 as we've done in the past to try to get us to the minimum.
Is there a second? Motion dies for lack of a second. Next.
Okay, can I move on now? For a second,
Say again.
I want to take out the 6,000 and go back to the 26, because I do believe that us, along with everybody else, like you said earlier, we are, we feel the same pains at the grocery store and the gas pump as everybody else. But I don't believe in the 6,000.
So.
Go to 2,600.
So is that like a motion?
My motion is to remove the 6,000 and add the 2,600.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Commissioner Weir, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
You have one nay.
Got it, Judge, thank you.
So before we leave this subject, can we revisit Commissioner Leachman's notice that the sheriff shows up twice? Ms. Harrison, I have to ask you a question or two about this. When what we have proposed, what's in the proposed, and filed and proposed, and we proposed, and on, budget, line item in the sheriff's department for the sheriff is or is not focusing on the 118 as opposed to the 36.
Correct.
Can you remind me why we did that, or we just picked one, or because the 101 through the 118 is more specific than the others
And I believe that we started off as using the 118 and
we didn't start off with the 36, we started off with the 118, so we were trying to be consistent.
yes,
But they still they're both still on the page,
that is correct.
so.
Same thing for county attorney. The 117 and 4.
Right. I I have an opinion, but I don't know that anybody on this at the table is gonna agree with it. But I kind of like leaving 118 and 117 and taking out 36 and 4.
We have not been using the 36 nor the 4.
Why wouldn't you just change your lineup or your numbers to match the numbers up there? And the reason I ask that is because obviously the top is elected positions where the bottom is not.
Well, when you say change your numbers, do you mean change the pay rate or do you mean actually change the minimum, midpoint and maximums?
Yes, the minimum, midpoint, and maximums.
Because for example, in the sheriff's line, the 118 has a broader range than does the 36. And the same is not true with county attorney. Well, maybe a broader range, but it starts at a lower minimum. So it's just all screwed up, basically. Anybody have a?
You're saying take, just take the dollar amounts and move them up from the 117, 118, insert them in the leave 4 and 8, excuse me, not 8.
4 and 36.
And 36, yeah, leave them intact, just change the numbers.
I think that's what he's saying. I think that still leaves us with a 117 because there's another job description in that slot.
Not taking out the whole, that's just, just the county attorney.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that what
Yeah.
you're thinking?
What Chris said.
That would be originally Commissioner Leachman's motion, is to just move the two the two rows that are associated with 117 and 118 to row 4 and 36 above. Right? Is that your motion?
I did not make a motion on it. No, I was just saying that was the logical thing to do.
Okay. Could it be a motion? Okay.
Is it a motion?
It's not yet.
Clean it up.
Huh?
It would definitely clean it up. Clean up the chart.
Okay, I'll make the motion. I move that we do just that we take, are we sure? Because am I about to fall into something here?
I don't think, I mean, we've got duplicates and people are asking and there's no answer.
You can clarify.
That's what was given to us by the salary survey.
All right, then I will move that we take the rows, the rows that include minimum, midpoint, and maximum for 117 and 118, and apply those to pay grades up at the top of the page, 4 and 36 respectively.
And I'll say,
Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
aye.
Opposed? Okay. Who's next or what's next? Well, we didn't ever really.
Judge, I'd like to talk about the IT department. And with that, director. And discuss going ahead and putting Chris Nagel in as the director over the IT department.
Okay. We're discussing.
That's.
Oh, that's a motion.
That's it. That, I will make the motion to put Chris Nagel as our new IT director, administrator.
Is there a second? Commissioner, Commissioner Weir seconds. Discussion.
Why wouldn't you open it up as any other job?
Because he's been doing the job.
I agree, but maybe somebody, maybe needs to apply, maybe somebody else wants to apply.
But he's been doing the job.
Can I ask you a question about, and this comes from our conversation last week. Tell me if I have this wrong. You were thinking that the committee, the IT committee could come up with a posting, post, advertise, receive applications, conduct the selection process, and bring a proposed selection to the court?
Correct.
How is that fair to Mr. Nagel?
He could apply just like anyone else.
Would you apply if one of the members of that committee published to the entire Blanco County employee community allegations that he's setting us up to be compromised, and that we're paying him to sit in their offices for hours on end, doing nothing? Because I'm holding the phone.
Judge, as far as HR goes, I really don't think this needs to be talked about. I'm sorry.
So am I.
Well, I mean, it does need to be talked about, but I'm not so sure it needs to be talked about.
Well, we're not gonna talk about it behind closed doors. We're gonna talk about it in the court.
Okay.
The motion on the table is to hire an individual for a job. No matter what the process, whether it went through a committee and there was a recommendation, it's still gonna be an individual with a motion for the court to hire.
I understand that.
But to answer your question, if I wanted the job, yes, I'd apply. And I agree with you. Mr. Nagel knows a lot about our system, and he sat in many of the IT committee meetings with me, and we've talked about it, and we've talked in reference to other things as well. So I have no objection, except for having a fair way of marketing a new position within the county.
Have we done that with other new positions?
Well, I don't consider it a fair way of marketing the position. A fair way would be for the commissioner's court to attract individuals and select an individual.
The ultimate decision would be the commissioner's court. It'd be a recommendation by an IT committee. I mean, if we want to call for
And that's the issue that you and I disagree on, is whether that IT committee is fair, and I say it is not, and you say it is. More complicated than that.
No, it's
Why don't we
not.
just vote and see what-
Well, we're in discussion. Anybody else have anything they want to say? All right. It's probably best, Ms. Waller, that you take a record vote on this.
Judge Gray,
Aye.
Commissioner Weir,
Aye.
Commissioner Eager,
Aye.
Commissioner Leisman,
Nay.
Commissioner Riley.
Aye.
Okay, so that leaves us with the next question, which is, if the motion was to engage him as the IT director, that is a salary match. I know the department IT director was very recently higher than their current county, and theirs was in the neighborhood of 115,000. This is Blanco County, not Burnett County.
At the 117, with the fiscal year 25-26, it would be minimum of 94,969.
Right. Is that, how do we want to address the operating job?
I would say at that amount, I make a motion that the pay scale for the IT administrator position be pay grade 117 at 94,969 fiscal year 25-26.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Weir, discussion. Worst case scenario is if it's rejected, we're back here in a couple of weeks discussing it further.
Absolutely.
Ms. Wallen?
Jeff Green,
Aye.
Commissioner Weir,
Aye.
Commissioner Eager,
Aye.
Commissioner Eastman,
Nay.
Commissioner Hart.
Aye.
So while, perhaps we should stay out, did you bring this one up?
I did.
And did you have more?
Do it this time.
Let's talk about the second component of the IT department. Originally, I filed this, a two-person department, and study was done. And motion was to make it a contract vendor as the secondary component or backup, and I think that's what's currently in the proposal. At what rate?
95.
95,000. All right. The committee, were you in those meetings with the committee?
I mean, no,
Not you,
I
not
don't,
you,
I
not
don't.
you. I'm sorry, I'm actually looking at Commissioner Eastman.
I was in the subcommittee meeting, so.
And did you all invite companies to come and present?
We've talked to different companies via some phone, some in person.
When you did it on phone, was it like a speakerphone?
Oh, I believe so, because I think there's only 2 committee members that showed up that day,
Who would that be?
me and Miss Speeds.
So you and Ms. Spees would talk to a vendor on speakerphone.
We did at that point in time.
And then how many vendors were discussing, was this discussion?
We were just trying, I think the consensus was more trying to figure out the best way to move forward with the county as a whole as far as IT. So there was no discussion on basically the intent of hiring that specific vendor. But I would say that there was a total of 4, maybe 4.
So what was the purpose of the discussions with them and what came out of it?
Just on what kind of services they provided and how they work with other counties throughout the state of Texas to make it beneficial.
And this gave you some insight into what services are available?
Yeah.
And what we might create as a request for offers?
I believe Mr. Nagel was in one meeting with them, and you can answer to that question.
If the,
Yeah.
the one meeting that I was in with the vendor on site and on-prem, if the rest of them follow that, like Commissioner Leisman has stated, they should all, they'll, I mean, majority of them will fit the bill, is I guess where I'm going with it.
If the rest of them follow that, will follow what?
Follow the same methodology, if you would.
So they presented the methodology
The one I went to, yes, sir, he did.
and you liked it.
I thought it was in line with what it should be.
And we would want to incorporate that into our
Processes?
processes
Absolutely,
and our process of selection.
yes. And I think based off of the one I went to, I don't think there was enough information that was had to make a selection yet. I think based on the information I've received, the committee could make a short list. And then we could actually, I mean, I guess it's already a short list, with only 4 vendors. Then actually grill them on what they're going to be able to provide. That's the way.
So my problem with this is twofold. But for your purposes, it is that we are not in compliance with state procurement law.
Okay.
We have created a committee that has instead of acquiring somebody to do this for us, which is how you would normally do it, we've taken it upon ourselves to do the research and invite certain vendors, but not all vendors. And that means that some vendors are disadvantaged.
Mhm.
And typically, what can happen in that situation is our selection process can be challenged and overturned.
Okay.
So that's why I'm asking these questions, and that's why I'm concerned about what we did with these vendors.
So with the next
I
step,
mean, we didn't use every vendor, we didn't
Right.
have every vendor in the state come in and talk to us. They didn't all have equal chances to do that.
Right.
So they don't know what you all said back to them. They only know only the people that were in the room know what you said back to them.
So during the committee meetings, it was more of a informational items only. It wasn't a specific request for proposals on these types of agencies. Basically, what the goal of the IT committee was once the county decided to hire the IT director, which had just happened, then the IT director would be reaching out and trying to come up with a vendor and go through the procurement process of hiring a vendor to serve the county as a whole.
Mhm.
It wasn't the committee that did anything as far as hiring or firing of any outside agency. We were just trying to get insight of what tasks they could perform and how it would work within our county.
So now I would suggest at this, maybe not at this.
And that is
meeting.
exactly the point, is that it was not a request for bids.
Right.
It
To
was the
go-
precursor to a request for bids.
From RFP.
And it's the area of where there is danger because there was a preference given to some over others.
Sure. At this point, I would say we look at requests for proposals and.
Well, once we have the discussion about whether or not you're going to take the job that has been offered,
Mhm.
and to Commissioner Richmond's point, it will fall upon you to help the Commissioners Court find this company.
Absolutely.
But I strongly urge that you, move away from whatever came out of that committee and you work closely with the auditor and possibly the attorney at a selection process that is open and fair
Okay.
to everyone.
Agreed.
So presently, the number in the budget for a contract is 95. I think I heard that at some point or other that we think we can do it for less. I don't know if there has to be an action taken at this moment. Does that number seem workable?
I think so for the majority of it, for the majority of vendors, there are gonna be obviously some that are much higher. But I think for what we're looking at, I think that's a good number to go off of.
Let me ask you this, if it's a vendor company, then would we be in a contract with them? That would be a contract for a certain amount per month or per year for them to manage that and work with you on that. So the number we're putting there, is it for that, would it be for that contract?
It's for that contract. I just don't know what the basis of the contract is. If it's services
Or how it's billed or whatever.
Could be hourly, could be
Yeah.
monthly. These are the things we're gonna have to find out as we're investigating, excuse me, the appropriate 30. For sure.
All right, anybody have any? I think we got budget. We're in budget discussions. We have a budget for that item. Anybody have anything else on that item? Can we move to the next item? And what do we want the next item to be? Do we want to talk about the sheriff's budget?
Thank you.
Yes. So, Sheriff, you brought what we talked about, 2 weeks ago, and you brought your request for your pay for your deputies, and we talked about the opening salary for a patrol deputy, or a new deputy, fresh out on the streets, being at 62,814.
Yes, sir.
Correct. So, Judge, with that being said, I would like to make a motion to make a new pay grade line item of 109A that will have where is that one, Connie? (109A) that will have a starting deputy with no experience at $62,814 for the proposed 25-26 minimum.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Weir, discussion. So if you have a 109A with a minimum that's different than 109, it's a little bit higher, correct?
Correct.
Are you changing the midpoint and the maximum or just the starting salary?
Just the starting salary
For deputy.
per deputy.
So a deputy, if this passes at a 109A, has the same range of salary as does somebody else classified in a 109 period. Right?
Correct. From the midpoint and the maximum.
Yes.
Correct.
The starting pay will be the change.
Yes. Discussion. according to the Atlanta County Internet, because I keep getting told different things, not by you, but by others close to you, that they adopted a 25-26 budget that has 12 patrol deputies with a base salary, I assume that means a starting salary, of $60,215. I always get told that they're all ahead of us, they're all doing more.
We've usually been right neck and neck with Llano. Llano is, they don't have the same draw as we have, that cost of living is less. Their surrounding counties, if you go west, pay even less. Our competition is more in this area.
And then Vernon County shows 15 deputies making not making, but somewhere between 69 and about 71,000.
Right.
So that's a little more than us.
Yes. This is still putting us below pretty much everybody but Llano.
Just to be sure, I can't say that they've actually passed this budget.
Right.
This is what they're proposing as of this week.
It still puts us below everybody that's around us, except what Llano proposed this time. Of course, Llano's also looking at us, see what we're doing.
Okay, then, okay. Anyone else on the motion to create a 109A? That is the motion, correct? Ms. Waller?
Judge Brady,
Aye.
Commissioner Weir.
Aye.
Commissioner Eager,
Aye.
Commissioner Leiston, Commissioner Wiley.
Aye.
Okay. What's next?
So now going back to your proposed request, and that was taking out your bid for a truck for the sheriff and also the on-call amount of
Yes,
32,000 or something like that. I can't remember.
35.5 or 35.
So with your request, it's going to be a little bit different than this because on your request, there were people in there that also had their years completed.
Right.
And so that number is going to actually be a little bit more than what you were requesting here because we had to put in the years of service as well.
On some, yes.
On some of them, okay. All right, I want to make that clear. And you're happy with this right here? Happy with what you proposed and what we're looking at, what you're looking at?
Did you say right here, what are we actually?
Yes. Yes.
This one we just got today.
Yeah.
Now, Leisman had brought up in our last meeting that if you got all this and no truck and no on call, we would, as a commissioner's court, have the power over the Senate bill money through you.
You'll never, that's not the way it works.
I understand, do you understand what we're asking for?
Well, you can't ask for that.
Okay, hang on. When you say it's not the way it works.
Yeah.
Tell me where this is not correct. Evidently, I'm supposed to fill out this form.
Right.
On the internet and ask for the funds.
Yes.
Looks like it's pretty likely it's almost automatic.
Yes.
The funds go to
the finance people. The commissioner's court has given me the impression that they would like, and it seems, and this is where I think you're gonna say that.
Yeah.
It seems to me that the county judge who's applying for the funds has some say in the fund and what the funds are used for. The commissioner's court has given me the impression that they would like to know, they would like to have an input into where the funds go. And it was my intention, if these funds come in and they get handed over to finance, that when you find a use for some of them,
Right.
I have to authorize it, and I don't plan on authorizing it until the commissioner's court has seen it.
Well, some of it will be, I don't know who I will hire.
What,
Yeah.
am I wrong in that I'm supposed to have some accountability for this?
No, I think you should have the,
Okay,
so, yes,
okay.
and the court, I'm not,
So keep going.
right. There'll be some adjustments still with salaries with this. Just to get some of our guys that are working for us, have been for us for a long time, up to some of the newer hire, or more compatible.
I did not interpret the court to say they didn't want that to happen.
Right.
They just want to have a say.
Right, and
So right?
the closer, and like I said, the closer I get with these salaries, the more equipment I'm gonna not request through the county court budget.
How far off do you think you are on? Over the course of the year?
Right now, we actually had a number, Robert, do you remember the number? It's substantial.
The difference between what we're looking at right here versus, I'm talking about the budget we're looking at right now, accepted.
2025, 2026.
Yes, so if we accept what you're proposing here, this right here, what is the difference that you're saying that you're gonna have to add to it out of Senate bill money?
It's approximately 282,000 that we left over.
I'm sorry, that's the, hang on, that's a different answer than what he asked you, how much did you need, and I think you were telling him how much you don't need.
Correct.
So
So
the
if you.
quick math is 68,000 or so. That's your-
I thought it was 77, the last calculation I did, but after that, it would be the county equipment, what we need for the county equipment, so the camera, what we're allowed to use it on.
That's
I mean, that's the other thing, it's specific of what you can use it on.
So there's still basically on this here, take out the Senate bill money, let's act like it's not there right now. You would still be saying you have a $78,000 shortfall on your salaries.
No. 56?
56,000.
Because what I'm getting at, and what I would like to talk about is taking out the 3 Chevy Tahoes out of capital equipment and putting them on the Senate bill, 22 money.
I think the total of 3 Chevy Tahoes goes
310.
beyond $350,000.
Well, it's 310 on here.
310?
Yeah.
But it eats it all up, pretty much. So, okay, keep going.
That's where I stop right now.
Got it.
But if you did that, I don't understand, are you saying take the Tahoes out, pay for it with Senate Bill 22 money, and you think that whatever's left is enough to pay the salary?
That's what I was asking. That's the point that I was trying to get to, was would there be enough money to pay their salary deficit?
Well, it'd be $40,000 is what's left over.
Right.
and $40,000 is not.
56,804.26.
Or $16,000 difference.
But is that based on the
And
making?
hold on, our estimate on the 3 Tahoes is 389. That's not. Oh, did that include the pickup? Okay.
So that included the sheriff's vehicle?
That did include the sheriff.
Yeah, I don't know the specific.
The sheriff, my truck was at 6204.
Let's go back for a minute, just say it's 310, and you just 40,000, and you need 56,000. But is that if every salary is increased on October the 1st? Because I'm guessing they're not, that they happen throughout the year.
So if what we recommended, go with that. We still have some Senate bill money we need to apply to some of our employees, and it's a total amount of 56,000. The remainder of the money goes toward it.
And if you only had 40,000, wouldn't you just have to apply it a little later so that it spreads out over the fiscal year?
Well, this is for the whole budget year. It's divided in 12 months, 56,000.
I understand that.
Okay.
And I'm saying, if you don't have 56,000, you only have 40,000.
Okay.
But you want to give the kind of raises you want to give, maybe you start in February.
Well, these are current.
It's arbitrary, but I'm just saying.
And judge, there's still gonna be open positions too, correct?
Guess I'm not following.
Yeah, but that money is not there until that
If I pay
position's been
you, if
open.
I give you $1,000 raise October the 1st, that costs $12,000. If I give you $1,000 raise starting February, that costs $8,000.
Right, but don't we get the money in October 1? And now it follows the budget year. It doesn't, like the first time we did it, it started in January. Now it follows the whole budget.
So you think because it follows the budget year, we have to apply it equally in every month?
I'm sorry, I was not following. My bad.
I see what you're saying, but this is to correct what we've got now. Current employees. The sooner we can correct them to get them closer to the other employees right now, then the better.
You're talking about the salary.
Do what?
You're talking about the salary. I don't know what this is.
On the October 1st, when the Senate bill gets in, to pay the current employees that need to be brought up to what the other is with their amount of time and their stuff like that, is where the 56,000, that needs to be spent right off to catch them up. I guess it wouldn't be, it'd be over a year's time. You're right, I see what you're saying.
$350,000 minus 56,000 is 294,000, and if you apply 294,000 to the cars, we've gone a long way toward paying for the cars.
Absolutely.
We didn't finish, but we've gone a long way toward paying for the cars.
Correct.
What's wrong with that?
Or what's wrong with doing 2 cars right off? Getting them quick in with the Senate bill.
Well, just simple, man, that's fine. You can move one car till later down the road.
Right. No, we'd have to purchase the other.
They're still in GovCap, so they're still getting purchased, they're still funding it getting purchased. You take the money and you
I see
apply
what
it to
you're
the GovCap line. You still order it and purchase it.
You're not getting anything less.
No.
Not asking you to get anything less.
Right.
Right, so let me clarify something. The 56,000 I gave you was, I forgot to mention the FICA and retirement. Those have to be added as well in there, correct? The FICA and retirement taken out as well. Okay. So that comes to 67,764. That was my bad. I forgot about those two things. As far as the Tahoes, we could take out
We got three.
three, so we would just divide that number by three. Take out two, and maybe the equipment for the third. Okay.
Is that a problem? Do you know if applying Senate Bill 22 money to pay a loan that you bought equipment with in the current fiscal, in the new fiscal year, is that wrong?
Senate Bill 22 money cannot include anything that is in the budget.
Is in the proposed
It is
budget.
in the proposed budget. So it has to be taken out of the budget. in order to-
Right now.
Correct. So if we could calculate.
And the other thing is, when you're talking about equipment, it has to, is this right? It has to be equipment that relates to either what a patrol person needs or what a jailer needs. It has to relate to the people that Senate Bill 22 relates to, right?
Yes, sir.
So like cars.
Cars, equipment. Firearms. Less than lethal. My suggestion is, and like I said, I'm more than willing to work with you. Why don't we take out 2 loaded Tahoes? We still order 3 come October 1st, but 2 of them are gonna be paid out of Senate bill.
Is that doable?
Yeah, as long as you don't budget for it, and pay for it with GovCap money.
So if you take them out, you didn't budget.
Okay.
So basically, you're budgeting 1.
Going back to this, on what they're requesting here on pay, didn't this include everything? Was this not with FICA and retirement? Your numbers?
Of these? No, it was not. We had it written down on one of them, but not the other.
No, okay, all right, I just clarify. Okay, just clarify. Okay.
Where do we stand?
Pulling the 2,
Pulling the 2, keeping 1 vehicle.
keeping 1 vehicle.
Inside the cat gov package.
Correct.
Do we need to vote on it
Or put it in for next, make the adjustment for the next meeting.
make the adjustment? for the next meeting? All right, what's next? Anything else on the sheriff? So.
No, this is, we're not voting on what it is.
That's to accept their request, your request amount, your requested salaries.
I'm sorry, what?
The agreement is that we're going to.
Judge, should we vote on this, on the request
I understand.
What request?
of what the sheriff wants for the pay scale?
We can if you want to make that motion. I guess.
Now, I will say this, I caught something Commissioner Leishman said just a second ago, and he said that he just got handed this today, and I'm assuming that, which I'm sorry, but are you uncomfortable with this and you want to look at it more? It's up to you.
There's no reason it can't be looked at more.
Okay,
We have at least another meeting.
okay.
But while we're talking about that, in an earlier discussion about following the $6,000 pattern that we established, the sheriff's number is a problem we worked with his pay grade, but if you look at the numbers that are in here, they're more than $50,000. So I don't know what to do, what you want to do.
You're talking about, there's actually a couple of them there, correct?
I'm looking, at the moment, I'm focusing on the head of the agency. And in 2023-24, it was one number, and it went up by a COLA in 2024-25. And then in 2025-26, it's a larger numbers, it's beyond the COLA, I'm not sure, and I think that has to do with the pay grade stuff. But it's outside our pattern. So we need a direction of what should be in the final budget.
I think that,
Yeah, I'm on page 16.
right,
It's
right,
the numbers, roll over the 16, I mean, roll over the 6,000.
no, I know, I understand. Yeah, I think we agreed on, as a court, a while back to do 6,000. We should keep that,
Do it here too.
yes.
Okay. Were there others on that page you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, because there's gonna be a couple of them on here. Is what's bad on page 1, there's gonna be,
You have to tell them to look at
the page that, yes, that one.
What about it?
On page 1. You have one that is going up by 13,000. And you have another one that's going up by 8,000. And another one that's going up by 6,620. There's several of them that are gonna go over 6,000. And we required every other employee 2 years ago to only go up by 6,000. Are we gonna change that at this point, or are we just gonna hold them to the 6,000?
I don't know. This yellow highlighted circle one
Yes, sir.
is one that this is a little out of school, but I thought that you and the sheriff and the chief deputy and Mayor Harrison were sitting down and trying to hammer some stuff out, and this was the agreed to thing.
Yes.
But it has more than as you point out, it has more than 6,000 in a couple of lines. I don't know what the answer is, because this is what everybody walked away happy about. Do you, Sheriff? Do you have a concern about sticking to the $6,000 increment?
Do I? For me, no,
No, not for you. Not for you, for everybody in that
Yes.
yellow circle.
for sure so.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
But JB, if y'all do that, it's coming from the Senate bill.
I'll say this, because some of you have said to me, we need to get the salaries up so we don't depend on the Senate bill. I believe more than two of you have said that to me. And it's a give and to take, because someday the Senate bill may go over, but it hasn't gone over yet. And we don't want to spend any more county budget on salary than we need to, and we want to rely on the Senate bill. We don't want to, I guess some of you don't want to rely on the Senate bill. So, because it's so quiet in here, I'm wondering if the compromise isn't as to this group of salaries that you all have discussed and apparently come to some agreement, and they're a little more than 6,000, but there's not any that are, what was the largest?
The largest was 13,000.
Okay, that's more than a little.
Well, I mean, you passed it last week or 2 weeks ago, no problem with the constable doing that. I hired a guy last year who's taken over the SRO, who's got over 20 years of extraordinary service. As an instructor, helps instruct everything from firearms to defensive attack. And we hired him at the base at 56. He's got over 20 years experience. He should have been paid the same amount that we calculated out for our experienced guys we hired last time. Just,
I'm sorry to say this because you're wearing a gun and it makes me
Right.
nervous, but that was y'all's mistake. Why would you hire somebody like that?
Okay. Why would we hire somebody that's qualified like that?
No, why would you hire her at the?
That's all we were allowed to at that time. We didn't have the other, we were not given the opportunity to use past funds. We were short 6 deputies at that time also. Or we were not short 6 deputies at that time, so we didn't have lax pay to pay him more at the time of hiring him. And he was an SRO officer that was only budgeted for the minimum amount.
And that's who we're talking about.
William Sumner.
That's who we're talking about. Okay.
Where we need to be moving.
That's something else to think about for our next meeting. How we can handle that.
Okay. So what do you all think? 'Cause I'm thinking about asking her to just fold these numbers in this yellow circle to the proposed budget for the year all to consider next time. And then you can take them apart one by one. The Mr. Sutton, $17,000, whatever. $13,000. But at least to be on paper to go yes or no.
Yeah.
What else?
So on page 49, my budget, on that number 103, when that person gets a CDL, how do you propose I'm gonna pay for that? He doesn't have a CDL right at this minute, but he will have it next year.
I mean, we can go ahead and increase this and, obviously, once he gets the CDL, then he would be given a raise,
Qualify for it.
qualify for a raise.
So same thing on page 48, if precinct 2 hires employee number 3 with a CDL, is that the salary for the minimum salary for a CDL?
$52,569 is with the CDL.
So that's what, we've talked about depending on the person's skill level, whether it's an officer or it's a road and bridge hand, whatever it is, there's got to be a range. So, but if you don't have that top dollar in there and he hires somebody October 1, he's gonna run out of money.
So does that say that we should budget for all of them as 107s in case they get the CDL? But when you hire them, if they don't have them, you consider them a 106?
Correct.
Until they do.
Right.
That's the same thing I did on the one that I hired that didn't have a CDL. Previously,
So then on page 52, you have moved to page 39, which technically should be page 40, not 39. And that's all my notes.
Anyone else? What did I skip on the list? It probably is worth noting, after I told you I would consult with, Melinda and get back to y'all, and Kathy's not here today, so she doesn't get to hear this, but, we're proposing increasing the LEC maintenance to 175 and the South Annex maintenance to 15.
The only thing that we added is the potential rent for district clerk.
Oh, thank you. So I need a court decision. The contractor is going to be putting more and more pressure on us to not even go into the building anymore. And they'll actually, by the way, September the 8th, they actually are starting inserting some steel. That's a problem for several offices on the first floor of the courthouse that still have records and files in there. The idea came, Miss Doyle is in that, what is supposed to be a conference room, and she's wedged in there with her people and some of her records. And they did a really, really good job of organizing and condensing, and they're okay, even though they trip over each other some, but they're okay. But I asked her to take a look at some rental space on the square that would be a lot larger and more open for her. She did that, and she came to the same conclusion that I probably would have in her shoes, and that it looks too much like a bar. That's my worst, not hers. But it has a whole lot of space, and I can't find anything else around the square yet that would work. And I think we're gonna need to do something to get the JP's records, the district clerk's records, the treasurer's records, anybody else's records completely out of the courthouse for the next year. So the space that I showed Ms. Doyle is next, it's on the other side of the square, on the other side of the courthouse. And it's $2,000 a month. It would be more than spacious for records and files. I don't know what else we could use it for, and it's, you know, it's more than we really need, and but I don't know where else. And they've come down on the rent twice since we've been asking them about it. But I need some help coming up with something, because there's going to be a point where they're just going to literally object or walk off the job if we won't get out of the courthouse.
What about portable office space? Where you get these general contractors move into these large jobs, they have some pretty nice offices, temporary.
You know, when we started looking at that, when we started the courthouse process, project, and everybody, we managed to wedge everybody in some kind of room closet or whatever, and they're there. And I don't know that anybody wants to do that. They might. I have not asked them.
Would it be secure enough? One thing, so
but the question is, do you really need an office trailer for records?
yeah.
Maybe
you have the space for it.
And maybe you do, because it would be climate control.
Or move somebody else there to open up an office space for them.
It's a lot of records, okay, the district clerk and the JP. But it's not a bad idea, office space, and I think that mobile office space is cheap. I think you can get one for less than $1,000 a month. I think.
If we can move
Really,
another,
construction should have better.
yeah, even if another department moved to allow them to have a more secure spot to put their stuff.
At the moment, there's a line item that was added into the non-departmental for rent for this space that we're talking about, and it was $27,000 because it included the rent plus some utilities. But we need to have this discussion to see what actually ultimately gets proposed to y'all and what you all want to do about this. And if we do nothing, our project's at risk.
I'd rather it not be at risk and do something else. We invested enough in it as it is.
All right. You've all been given the information, you've got a couple of weeks, maybe you have some ideas in the next time. And the money is still sort of sitting there to do something, if not that thing.
You're saying we have a couple of weeks to make this decision.
Yeah, yes. But we need to do something, we need to decide what we're gonna do. And so. Actually, I know what Ms. Harris is saying, she's saying, they're gonna be here on the 8th, and we're not gonna meet till the 9th, and that, people will still be going in and out for their records. And that's-
So what are you saying, that something needs to be done now?
She says, so I still say that you all need to think about it.
I have to call a special.
All right. More discussion on the budget. We'll come back to it. We need to move to 18, the recommendation of the Blanco County Salary Grievance Committee. So the documents that are in your folder are according to the statute, that each have to sign, each member of the committee has to sign off on the action. And we included the vote, each member documented for you.
Make a motion to approve the recommendation from the Blanco County Salary Grievance Committee to increase the tax salary by $8,000 for FY 24 or 25-26 to $78,974.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Eager. Discussion.
My part of the discussion is that, I think that we ought to, offer that position in color, just like we do the other elected officials. Yeah. That'd be more money than that position's ever paid. And, so I'm all for giving what everybody else is getting, and that's the $2,600 or whatever. And, call it that.
So just for clarity's sake, where it says increase of 8,000 to the 78,974, that 78,974 includes the 2,600 also. So it's 2,600 plus 8,000.
Okay, I'm looking more as, recalculating from 67 to 66 to 69,866.
You're setting to raise it from the current salary by 2,600.
2,600. Good.
So that is not the motion on the table, so certainly discussion. The county judge is supposed to oversee this committee and has no vote. And this was pretty much the 9 committee members making this choice. So I do get a vote today, and I'm gonna vote, but I wanna comment. I was there for the presentation, and during the presentation, it was represented that a couple of counties are representative examples to compare us to, one of which was Andrews County. And Andrews County pays their tax assessor collector $85,470 according to the Texas Association of Counties' most recent salary survey, which is equally available to everyone, not just me. Andrews County has 17,000 to 18,000 people, so it makes sense that it is comparable in that way. But Andrews County has a lot of oil and gas, and Andrews County has a low-level radioactive waste, the only low-level radioactive waste dump in the state. And Andrews County has a tax assessor collector that also collects the ad valorem taxes for the county. And so, that 85,470 appears to be, if you want to look at comparable counties, the Texas Association of Counties lumps all counties 10,000 to 24,999 together. And most of them on the list for tax assessor collectors are in the 50s and 60s. There are some 40s. There's 3 80s, 4 80s. Nope, there's more. There's a few 80s, and there are a lot of other ones. And I didn't really think Andrews County was a fair representation, but what I really thought was odd was just to single that one county out for the committee, and the committee did not have the advantage of knowing all of the counties that are considered comparable by Association of Counties and what those tax assessor collectors are paying. In addition, the second county that was referenced was Gillespie County. And interestingly, Gillespie County is rated by the Texas Association of Counties, not as similar to us, but in counties with populations of 25,000 to 49,999. And that county tax assessor collector is paid $84,538 according to them. But if you look at the long list of counties in that category, they range from lows in the low 50s to highs of that 84,000. And there's even a couple higher than that. There's a 90 in Matagorda County. Now, the tax assessor collector in Gillespie County does not collect the county property ad valorem taxes, so it is similar to our county, but their population is twice ours, their vehicle registration about twice ours, and she's doing the same amount of work with about the same number of people according to their website. So I had a little problem with both of them being comparable and used to justify the raise. That's just my take on it. And that's why I'll vote the way that I will. But if there's any further discussion, now would be a good time.
So the comment about that was the only position, or keep it with the 2,300 or 2,600, whatever you said. You just approved the sheriff a $6,000 raise.
Yeah, we did.
So it's not everybody, it's just handpicked. Nothing against the sheriff, just saying, but.
All right. Anyone else?
Well, I'll say this, I mean, there's other elected officials here that have quite a bit of territory. Some of you guys have 60 miles that you travel on a regular basis and you maintain, plus you have a number of employees, and then you have that you work with here and there, plus you do all of this. You do all of this every year. You're on committees outside of this county where you go and do what you do. And you get paid a certain amount. And you're getting, as we just voted to not give you the $6,000. We voted to give for the 2,600. So I really don't see how one department, you say the sheriff is, and I see a little bit different in responsibility than I can see as from the tax assessor. So that's the reason, my personal opinion, is that 2,600 is, again, added to the current salary is more than that position has ever paid. And so that's what I think the commissioners are accepting. And And I don't really see the difference in that respect.
Motion is to approve the full recommended increase for the salary stated. Ms. Waller, you want to call?
Judge Gray,
Nay.
Commissioner Ware,
Nay.
Commissioner Eager,
Yes.
Commissioner Eastman,
Yes.
Commissioner Riley.
Nay.
So the question then on the table is there any other action you want to take with respect to the salary grievance committee? Recommendation or the grievance in general, the request for money? While you're thinking about it, this was the first salary grievance I've ever been associated with. And the first concept under the statute is to do it the way we did it. I don't know if that's the most common or not, I can do a survey. But the first way is the way it's supposed, is the way they set out to do it, which has the county clerk, the county attorney, the treasurer, the sheriff, the tax assessor collector, and others on the committee, along with 3 public members. Public members that are selected through the grand jury service process. There's an alternative way of doing it, where it's all public members and they all are selected through the grand jury selection process. And if I were to do this in the future, I think I would want to do that. So, and I'm just bringing this up to you now because next April and May, we'll want to be constituting the grievance committee so it's ready in case there is a grievance. And I would be interested in your take on it. And my reasoning for going to all public members is just an observation, watching the committee work, is that it was uncomfortable, that it's not fun to be put in that position with your coworkers. So I think it should be all public members if I were doing it again. You don't have to say anything, we'll worry about that next year. That's my 2 cents. Anybody have anything else you want? Any other motions on this item?
Well, could I just ask you a question, sir? Is, if I wanted to raise or another person in an elected official wanted to raise, is this the proper procedure you go through, or do you, during the budget workshops and stuff, you bring it up? It comes up, every department stands up, they have their budget.
I can't speak for everybody. Everybody can do it different, and this is a legal process that can be used.
Okay.
I can tell you that I will go through the budget workshop process.
Okay,
If I wanted to raise, I would come to the 4 of you and say, I deserve a raise, this is why.
And do that in Commissioner's Court, you would probably.
Yes, during the workshop.
Yeah, I got you. I was just wondering if that was an option.
So, but this is a legal process.
So with that being said, it'll be the raise will be the 2,600 for the, the COLA raise. Or do we need to make a motion on that?
I don't know if it's clear. That's what I would do. I think that's how we will proceed without any further direction. Yes.
Yes.
The $2,600 raise.
The COLA raise.
COLA raise.
Yes. So I'll make a motion to give the.
If you want to, I mean, that's the plan, is to make it part of your proposal.
Right.
The proposal for next meeting.
Okay.
So I don't think you have to, but if you want to, feel free.
Okay, I want that.
I think we've got that direction.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Burn ban.
It's on until That meeting is September, right?
As I know.
Yes, sir, it's on noon, September 23rd.
Right.
So at this time, we're about to go to executive session, and I promised Commissioner Riley to take a break anyway. 12:03 PM, we'll recess into executive session to discuss settlement participation and other legal matters in consultation with our attorney. Is Denver still out there? She did? So you can see him? That's okay. Are you able to come in just a second? Okay, thanks.
It's too quiet in here, causing my ears to ring.
Ms. Waller, are you ready?
Judge, yes, we're on the record.
The Commissioners Court has completed its executive session on this 26th day of August, 2025, and are returning to open meeting at 12:25 p.m. No action was taken on any item while in executive session, and we will move to item 22, consideration of the settlement participation. Are there any motions?
So I move to authorize the county judge or other authorized official to execute settlement participation and release forms regarding settlement offers from Purdue, Amneal, Westward, NKA, Hagma, and other certain defendants in the matter of Texas opioid multi-district litigation for the county and the matter of County of Blanco versus Purdue Pharma Incorporated, Edball, MDL pretrial case, cause number 2018-63587 in the 152nd District Court of Harris County, Texas.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Weir, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Shirley, I asked you to come back because it's not an item on the agenda, but it is a matter that had to be referred to executive session because it came up during the regular meeting and the public hearing. Do we need to take a formal action for the republication that we talked about?
I would think so.
So, what would you recommend, a motion, just a motion to do just that? Republish immediately in time to get on the September 9th agenda?
Yes, that's what I would recommend.
All right. Anyone care to make that motion?
I'll move to, I need to word it. I move to republish the taxing. Tax what meeting? Sorry, just write it down. It needs to be worded properly. So, I move to republish the tax increase notice to be held, 9/9/2025.
Is there a second? Commissioner Weir, discussion? I wonder if this should be a record of.
Judge Frank,
Yeah, aye.
Commissioner Weir. Commissioner Hooper. Commissioner Leesman.
Aye.
Commissioner Riley.
Aye. All right. So moved. Anyone else have anything else other than item 23?
If not, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
And a second?
Second.
Commissioner Riley, discussion, all fair side.
Aye.
Shelley, Mr. Welch's comments or Ms. Welch's, do I keep them?